What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? You ever wonder why so many people are having a hard time and it seems like so many people are still stuck in poverty? Well, today we're going to read Proverbs 28:19, which is going to give us some key insights, three key insights into how you can get ahead. Let's read in our big red Bible. It says, "Those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies will have their fill of poverty." Again, those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies will have their fill of poverty. So, first, we got to figure out what is your land. This is not only talking about natural land, and it's good to have natural land, but it's also talking about your gifts, your skills, those things that God has anointed you with, the things that you can do that seemingly no one else can do, or you do effortlessly while it seems like it takes everyone such a long time or it's very, very hard for them to get started. What is your land? You got to identify your land. That's step number one. Identify that thing that you have been called to do, that you have been chosen to do, that you have been gifted to do. I think about people like Michael Jordan. Some would say that he is the best basketball player who ever walked the planet. Some will say it's LeBron James. But do you know that no one in Michael Jordan's family is over 6'1"? He's relatively, or they're relatively short compared to him. He's 6'6", and he was placed in an environment that was conducive to him becoming the best basketball player who ever walked the planet. He had the same physical attributes in terms of, he has two arms, he has two legs. He wasn't the biggest guy, he wasn't the strongest guy, but he had that determination and he had been put in situations that yielded him becoming the GOAT, as people would call him. Well, what is your thing? What is the thing that you have been gifted to do? You got to identify that thing and then you have to work it. Understand that land requires responsibility before reward. Ooh, that was a good one. Land requires responsibility before reward. We have some land here and we have to get out and we have to cut the grass. We have to plant if we want to yield a harvest, right? And so it's very, very important that you understand that things aren't just coming just because. You've got to get out there and you have to work that land. So once you find out what it is that you've been gifted in, you got to work it. Oftentimes we take a back seat or we just relax when we have been gifted to do a thing, and we never maximize the land. We never maximize the things that we have been given. But it's extremely important that you realize that although you may be gifted, although you may have land, although you may have a skill or a resource, you have to work that thing if you're going to maximize and if you are going to have an abundance of food. The second thing that you need to do is put in consistent work. There's so many people who are like one shot wonders, right? They get out and they strike gold one time and then they're done. But consistency is key, right? Even with us doing these videos a couple of times a week, it's important that we do that because we get better and better. We make adjustments, right? We make a change, we make turns in order to make sure that the work is consistent. There's a scripture in Proverbs 22:29 that says, "Seest thou a man who is consistent in his work? He shall stand before kings, he shall not stand before mean men." Right? And so, in other words, when you are diligent, when you are consistent, there are people who are going to come and seek you out. Wow, I know that Johnny does very, very good work when it comes to whatever your thing is. And so it's important that you consistently do that work so that more people can see you and you can stand before kings. You can stand before people who have the resources to maximize whatever the gift is that you have. So, number one, you got to identify the gift. Number two, you got to consistently operate in that gift. You got to consistently till the land. Here, if we don't till the land, we don't cut the grass, we don't, cut the hedges, what happens is it goes into a state of disorder. There is such a law called the law of entropy, which says everything moves to a state of disorder. And so if you don't use it, not only will you lose it, but if you don't use it, it's going to get out of whack, right? It's going to go to a state of disorder. There's going to go to a state of chaos. So it's important that you, number one, identify, number two, that you consistently work that thing. And the third thing is stop chasing fantasies. Fantasies are not real. There's so many people who are chasing things that are not real. You're looking at social media, and on social media, everybody shows their best. Everybody shows what they want you to see, but they don't show the hard work that goes on behind the scenes. When we watch the Olympics, we see people's best races, but we don't see all of the hours of practice. We don't see, the shutting off of people that they would like to be around. We don't see the sacrifice that goes into not going to different events that they want to go to, or just doing the various things that you want to do to have fun. Vision without work becomes delusion. If you have a vision and you don't put any work behind that vision, you don't, it's like you have all of these ideas, but you never ever get to work on them. There's something known as analysis paralysis. In other words, you're thinking and thinking and thinking, but you never ever get to do any work. Stop chasing fantasies. Stop chasing things that are not real, and get out there and actually do the work. Realize the work. Make it tangible. So I'm encouraging you, and I am challenging you to get out and do the work. Stop chasing fantasies. Be consistent at whatever it is that God has put on your heart. If you like content like this and you want to share it with the masses, please like it, share it, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell so that you know whenever we put out new videos. And look, be great today. Peace.